Hello guys, I hope you are doing good. Welcome to another video. We have covered many problems in the series JavaScript problems for freshers or SDE1. There are only few remaining, so let's start with the polyfills. Polyfill is a browser compatible code that you write for the features which are not yet supported by the browsers. So how browser works and how JavaScript upgrade works is there is a committee called ECMA, which is the de facto deciding body which takes decision on what all features should be shipped in the next JavaScript. So what happens is they decide to ship few features every year. The major upgrade was ES6, and every time the new update that has to come out, it is called as ES next. So ECMAScript is the governing body. Why it helps is because JavaScript is a language that has to be adapted by multiple browsers, and all browsers differ slightly, so the implementation of JavaScript may also differ. It creates an headache, or every JavaScript developer has to be aware about those methods, so it creates uh, chaos for them to learn things which are browser specific rather than focusing on the language itself. So these governing bodies try to come up with the features which has to be implemented by all the browsers to make it stable. Now once they have decided that this feature will be shipped and these features has to be upgraded in the JavaScript engines that is being used by the browser. So let's say the version 10 supports the features, but version 9, 8 or 7 may not support those features because those are old engines. So what we do is we create polyfills for those methods. So we write code that uses the modern methods syntax, but internally it is a polyfill which uses the old methods to support these methods. Nowadays we use Babel, which is a transpiler that helps us to create the polyfills. So in the interviews, when you get asked like why the bundle size increases when we are targeting the older browser, this is the most common answer that you give, that for the older browsers we have to generate more polyfills, so more code has to be written to support on that browsers, because the developers code with the new versions, new features, but that has to be supported on the old browser, so we write polyfills. That's why the bundle size increases. You will learn all those concepts in my system design course. So if you are looking or if you are preparing for your interviews, do check out my course alpha.learnersbucket.com. I have everything that you need to become a good front-end engineer. So let's start with writing the basic polyfill for array.filter. How filter method works is you add a method on the array. So filter is natively available. We'll be creating filter polyfill, a new method. And how it works is any array that you create, this method will be available on that, and it will take a callback function, and this callback function will be iterated on each element of the array, and the element that passes the callback function test will be returned as a new array. So that's how the array.filter works. So for example, const arr, let me just copy this from here to here, and let's just run this. Let me close this sidebar so that we have extra space. And if I run this, you'll see because this filter polyfill is not available, so we are getting an error. Sorry about that. If I use the native filter method, you'll see that we are getting 2, 4 and 6 as output, because we are adding each array element to this callback function, and we are running a test emod2 equals to 0, which means if the number is even, then we have to return that in the form of new array. So how do you create a polyfill on the array is you extend the array with the prototype method. So array dot prototype dot filter polyfill. So prototype and then function, we are using the normal function declaration because we are going to make use of this keyword, which is a special keyword available within the function, and this in this case will refer to array or the element that we are having over here. So you have to make sure of this, that you are using this keyword. The second thing is the prototype chain. So if you want to extend any object in JavaScript, you can use the prototype and then add a new method on that. Because arrays are also objects in JavaScript, that's why we can use the prototype on that and we can add a new method. And here this function will take a callback function, so we'll have a callback. And now what we are going to do is we are going to iterate. So for let I equals to 0, I is less than this dot length. So this refers to the array itself, which means these values. This is a special keyword available within the function and its value changes depending upon what type of function you are declaring. And then we have I plus plus. And now I'll add a check if callback and I, which means, sorry, this of I. So if this callback, we are passing the current element to the callback, and if this is passing the test, so we have to store this value in a result. For that, let me declare a variable over here, const result equals to array. I'm declaring this using const because I'm not going to directly update the variable, rather I'm going to use the push method available on the array. So const result dot push this of I. So if this passes the test, we are passing that element to the result, and ultimately we are going to return the result. But in the actual implementation of filter, if you see all the arguments, you'll see that the first value is the value of the array, the second is the index, and third is the complete array. So to make sure that our polyfill works exactly like the filter, we are going to pass all these three values to this callback function as well, so that it can be accessed. And now if I use the filter.polyfill, it should work properly and we should get 246 as the output. Let me run this and see, we got 246 as the output with our filter polyfill. So this is how you can implement the polyfill for array.filter method. Few things to remember over here is using the prototype to add a new method. Second is declaring this as a normal function using function keyword and accessing this points to the array itself, and then you can use it to get the values from it. So this is how you can implement the filter.polyfill. I'll see you in the next video.